And the answer was, of course, comfort. No. I thought about that joke for like 2 seconds after I ended the last episode. And then the other thought occurred to me. What if I accidentally hit that? But no. We're refusing. Hi everyone, Ryan here, aka the Ryan Man. If you want context over what the hell's going on, I want you to take a step back and question why you're jumping in to this series at this point. I appreciate the enthusiasm, but go get some context, as I refuse and probably throw this poor woman off of me. Wait, I did hit refuse, right? Just want to make sure this game remember that I did hit refuse. Okay, I'm gonna tell myself we hit that. Before I can answer, she pushes her whole weight against me, and it unbalances me enough to send us both onto the bed. If I don't answer quickly, then the situation will only become more precarious. I know that I should never let things get as tangled as they already are. Well, how? This really just came out of nowhere. You mean just not let her in the room? I have means of getting that one done, my lad. So even though it isn't the most tactful way to refuse her, I push her off me. Misha falls backwards onto the sheets, so softly that it seems like she barely fell at all. Eyes closed, she stays like that for a while, before getting up with a hollow laugh. And then comes the sad piano. You're right, Hishan. I'm sorry. Did I also probably save us from me having to edit? Are there no boobs this season? Does this whole series end with boobs? No, open your eyes, man! Keep an eye on her! I'm not sure how I feel. Regretful, slightly, even though I've grown to hate regret. Sad, for the multitude of reasons. I'm also a little angry, both at her and myself. And in a way, it even seems like I'm not really feeling it all. Don't be. No, Hishan. It's okay. I am really. Even in her sad state, she still has to do this, what I can only assume is like sing-songy type of thing. But just asking was enough for me, I think. I'm happier that you said no. Is that right? Well, that's good. Yeah, it is. Thanks, Hishan. She pulls herself up and leans against the wall. I'm assuming she is. My head hurts so much that I don't bother opening my eyes. I lie on my bed, listening to the rustle of my hair brushing against the sheets, and the grass waving in the wind outside. I guess that I should say more to reassure her, but I wonder if that would really help. Maybe it would be better say nothing. Say nothing? I just don't know. Although I think that in this situation, there's no one right thing I can do. Good night, Hishan. With that, she leaves, the door clicking shut behind her with a guilty whisper. Maybe it is because I'm eager to put today behind me, but after Misha is gone, I find it much easier to fall asleep. I do so almost instantly. Scene of a chapter. I probably literally could have gone that extra 5 minutes the last episode, you know, and then just ended the episode, but I was in just so much of a fun-getty mood over all the creative ways I could have just been turning down this woman for sex that I had to take a lap. And I'm glad I did, honestly, because I was now able to hold my composure so much better for what was supposed to be a much more meaningful interaction. You know what I mean? And sometimes sometimes that's for the best. The following morning, I wake up thinking that most of my time is going to be spent trying to avoid Shizune and Misha. What happened last evening still makes me feel uneasy. I thought that sleeping on it would have helped alleviate that feeling. I feel like an idiot for believing it would be that easy. I think about whether or not Misha might feel the same way. If so, she probably won't show up to school today. I'd consider doing the same, but it would be pretty suspicious. And staying inside all day in fear doesn't appeal to me. It never really has. Like I thought, Misha is in the class this morning. Shizune is, but today is busier day than most, so she gives all her concentrating on her classwork, and that means there's little idle time for her to start up a conversation with me. I'd grown so used to seeing Shizune and Misha together that I didn't realize until yesterday how much that she hasn't been the case lately. And it's a shame, because the empty seat next to her reminds me that they are a pair. So yesterday is something that I'll take to my grave. It's not every day that I congratulate this man on his brilliance. Today is that day. I know they say women like honesty, but I want you to sit me down and explain to me through a PowerPoint presentation on all the benefits of, hey, so your best and only friend of the last few years tried to fuck me, but I said no. I'm the good guy for turning her down because I'm with you, and then telling you about it. I'm sure absolutely nothing catastrophic would happen. Please do not actually make a PowerPoint presentation based around something from Katawa Shoujo, unless it's about how Hanako is best girl. Moving on. So yesterday is something I'll take to my grave. If I feel this way about it, I wonder how Misha must feel. Just as regretful? When she came on to me, she was more depressed than sexy to start with. Oh, some guys, that doesn't matter. I can only imagine how much worse it would be now. Oh my god, she'd commit suicide if that was me. Like, oh my god, Ryan of all people turned me down. Well, that is it for me. Think about it like that, I want to see her again. But only half-heartedly. The other half of me is still terrified, even though I hate to use that word. It makes me feel ashamed, but I'm sure it's the only way to describe myself right now. You best probably talk to her to lay down the groundworks on a co-conspiracy of keeping this under wraps. And then I'm going to sit you down to explain the finer things that is... The only way two people keep a secret is if one of them is fucking dead. I spend the next couple of periods in the library, not in the mood to sit in classes for the rest of the day, but unwilling to walk back to the dorms. While I'm lazily flipping through the pages of an interesting historical fiction novel, did we ever return those books, by the way? Shizune drops herself in the chair across from me, pouting. I think it's sort of pointless to come to school and then skip every class. Sorry. Oh, I remember that sign language for sorry. Yay, me. At least tell everyone that you're sick. I'm just not feeling it today. Yesterday I was fine, though. Tomorrow I'll probably be fine. Taking a sick day in the middle of the week is just too suspicious. That 24-hour flu thing or whatever won't fly. It's not suspicious. People would think you're just fucking sick. It is. No, it's not! I turn back to my book, but Shizune gently pulls it down. In contrast with her expression, which straddles the line between concern and anger. Is something wrong? Do not waver! Oh my god, we're at a horrible impasse. Do we tell her her best friend tried to doink us? Do we keep it to our grave? Will it blow up in our face if we don't tell her? Should I have doinked her? No. But Ryan, if we had doinked her, we wouldn't be in this predicament of trying to keep it a secret that we didn't take her paths of doinking us. Other corrupt Ryan, I feel like that opens up a whole new can of worms. We're never gonna know that current dimensional Ryan. Fuck! Nani? Is something bothering you? Because you're acting a little suspicious today. In a different way. If there is, just tell me, or I'll be mad. I'm not good at reading people. And I'm not good at reading at all. What a ridiculous thing to say, after picking up my mood so easily. She is only half kidding, but there is some truth in it. After all, she can't hear tone, and she has to rely on reading to communicate with others. It's as if you could only ever have a conversation with someone through text messages. God, that's the only way some people have communication. Oh my god, if this game was made today... Oh... Someone's entire route would only be through text messages. Am I giving some old developer out there, like, inspiration for Katawa Shoujo 2 through some of my own dumb shenanigans? Nah, I'm too small of a content creator beyond the blip of any kind of blip on their radar. Besides, there's like countless other Katawa Shoujo content out there right now, all of which much more massively entertaining and successful than these. That has to mess with you in some way. It's probably why she stares so intently at people, in order to gauge their reaction. Or maybe that's why she pushes people so hard, to get them to react. I've thought about it before, but it's too hard to say for sure what Shizune's exact motivations are for anything. So I wonder how much of that was a joke. Sometimes it's easy to tell. This time it isn't. Assuming it wasn't a joke, I can't tell her anyway. Because it's sign language. There isn't enough time to collect myself and lie effectively. Nothing. Confused, concerned, and angry ellipses. I've just been thinking a lot about the Student Council's future lately. I believe Misha's doing the same. Well, in her own way. Oh yeah, she was really pondering that in her own way. So am I, but she isn't here today. I wish she would have let me know something, because I might need her help later today. Yours too, unless you're busy. I'm not. Thank you. I feel like I'm losing a lot of people close to me lately. Ah. God. Why couldn't this route just be about a weird-ass rude dad? I am not equipped to deal with this! I am not equipped to deal with any of this! I can't think of a good way to respond to that. Something reassuring and confident, telling her not to worry. I'm here for you. I'm not one of those people. We really are. Then who is? And it seems so forced. I managed to wave of my hand that seems extremely callous as soon as I do it. You shouldn't feel that way. Ellipses. I might be just a little sick, not enough to go through the trouble of making it official. It's just easier for me this way. It's the wrong way. I've heard the hard way and the right way are usually the same thing, but it's not a big stretch to say that the opposite is true. Well, fine. If you say you're alright, that's good enough for me. Wait! You asked me, so I'm turning it around. Is everything okay with you? Yes. She signs it without a moment's hesitation. After that, Shizune waits to see if I'm going to follow up on it. I don't, and she leaves. I feel like a baka for not going further, even though I think it's better that I didn't. I've been in the library for quite a while, and decided to go up to the roof for a change of pace. A fresh breeze hits me the second I open the door. This is really my favorite area of the school. I think we only really go to 3 locations. 4 if we count the nurse's office. The classroom, the roof, the library, and the nurse's office. Yeah, I don't know. And then I see I'm not the only one up here. I can see a girl with bubblegum pink hair in front of me. Her back is to me, but I don't have to see her face to know who it is. I'm sure Misha is the only person in the world with hair like that. If this game was made in today's world, I don't think it would be as charming. And that's why nothing more should ever be done with this saga. Let it remain the S tier of visual novels, but yet underneath the radar of all other media. The current generation and the wackos that inhabit must never touch their hands on this game. Continue. I get the feeling I stumbled on her at a bad moment. We're all in a bad moment right now. She obviously wants to be alone, and I wonder if she hasn't noticed my presence. If so, I'll leave right now. But she has, and turns to face me.
Oh, hi, Hishan. I thought someone was behind me, but I didn't think it was going to be you. This time, you surprised me.
Misha? I've never said this before, and I probably won't ever again. But are you alright? If she's referring to her habit of sneaking up behind me and asking me to guess who it is, I've never been surprised by that. I'm surprised too, but this is good. I had something I wanted to talk to you about anyway.
Ellipses.
No, not that. What's going on between you and Shizune? She won't tell me, so I'm asking you. Because you're easier to get an answer out of, since the same sign language that gives me the leeway to lie to her gives her a cushion against my questions, so that she can more easily brush them off. When she hesitates, I push harder. Give me an honest answer, please.
It's complicated, Hishan. It's because of something that happened a long time ago. I thought I could just forget about it, but it's really hard. So, that and graduation coming up made me want to spend more time with Shishan. But Shishan's always busy now, so we've been fighting. But I'm tired of it now. Because I like Shishan. Well, no shit. You're literally attached to her hip. I'm gonna lay back on the sarcasm right now because I can tell this is a tender moment. So do I. Though, gonna be frank. We're gonna be a little frank here with you, Misha. Based on current events, or previous events, I should say, I think Hazel probably likes her a little tiny touch more. No, I know you like her, Hishan. I mean that I like Shishan.
No. No. What?
I like Shishan in the same way.
What? What? So... What? What?
I want her to be my girlfriend.
What? Misha closes her eyes, like a condemned criminal confessing the last of their sins in front of the executioner. It only makes it harder for me to think of a response, and I know I have to give one. I see. I never knew. Oh my God, I never knew. Oh my, why, no, wait, what were the signs? Wait, were there any signs? Am I dumb? All this time, all these seasons, all these years. What? I don't learn this. What? Okay.
I didn't really want to come to this school, Hishan, but it sounded interesting, and even if everyone hated me, at least it felt like they would leave me alone. I was learning sign language, but wasn't very good at it.
So there's nothing wrong with her, but they let her take part of the school to be enrolled in the sign language program.
Shishan was trying to get people to join the student council because it was only her and Lily. Then she came up to me. I couldn't understand her at all. But Shishan wouldn't use her pen and paper. She knew that I was taking sign language classes. I was exposed quickly. I didn't know any. That only made her try harder. And I hated Shishan and thought she was making fun of me. That wasn't the reason, though. So I slowly fell in love with Shishan, and I told her that I loved her. It was in the student council room, you know, when it was just the two of us. I had these fantasies of Shishan staying alone in the office, trying to put everything together all by herself. It seemed so lonely to me, and so sad. I think I wanted it to be that way. That way, I could be there for Shishan, and maybe Shishan would like me. Even though there was no reason for me to believe it, I did anyway. I wanted it to be true. so I was okay with letting myself believe it, even though I think I knew. That day was really, really beautiful too, Hishan. We were done with everything, and I was looking out through the window. Even through the window, the light was so warm, and I wanted to stay like that forever, next to Shishan. But then I looked at Shishan, and she had her back to the window, and I was still working on something, blocking out the rest of the world. The light was on her shoulders, like when I would put a blanket on my shoulders as a little kid.
Misha stops for a second, as if trying to hold on the image of Shizune in her mind.
Shishan looked... It was like Shishan looked in a way that made me want to be with her, but it felt like it would be hard for that to happen. That was a really long time ago. My hair was different back then, too. A little messy. I cut it because Shishan was always talking about it. Anyway, I told her right then and there. I confessed. I was rejected. So, I thought that was it, Hishan. But Shishan was always trying to find me, and I hated Shishan again for it. And when I asked her why she was doing it, it was because I was her friend.
Her cheeks have a hint of red in them. I wonder how much experience she's had with crying. That she can keep herself from doing it so well. If she didn't pause to wipe her eyes, I might never have noticed.
Having Shishan say that made me happy, but also sad. And even though she never meant to hurt me, it still hurts, even now. Shishan has a way of manipulating people, Hishan. Sometimes she wants to, and sometimes she doesn't really, but it happens anyway. And sometimes I'm just not sure exactly which one it is, and I feel doubt. I just wish that Shishan liked me instead of you. It made me wonder if I was starting to hate you and Shishan. Just a little. I didn't like that.
So, you were thinking maybe it would be better if I weren't here at all? She looks confused. The thought has never crossed her mind.
That's not it, Hishan. I thought about it a lot these last few days, and I don't want to hate anyone, you or Shishan. It's so stupid that I've ever felt like that, isn't it, Hishan? I don't want to think about that kind of stuff ever again. And missing people and being apart from them, I'm tired of it, and I don't want to think about it anymore. I already did, though, so I'm still really the worst kind of person. I wasn't thinking that it would be better if Hishan had never come to this school. I was thinking, wouldn't it be better if I just died?
Misha presses harder against the fence at her back, as if hoping to slip right through it. Please don't. Without really thinking about it, I grab her hand. My reflexes are terrible, and I manage to only grasp onto a few of her fingers, but it's unimportant. Sorry, it's just that you said something pretty weird just now.
Yeah, I guess that's right, Hishan.
Yeah. Do you want to know what I think? Shizune's the type of person who won't let anyone close to her except on her terms. It's frustrating. Sometimes it's even infuriating. That probably would have bothered me that when I was in the hospital, and anyone who shut me out was dead to me. I've forgotten all about it until recently. I got a letter, and it was all about that. I was mad. I thought, how can you accuse me of closing myself off from everyone and giving up? Isn't that what everyone else did to me? What else am I supposed to do? What can I do? Yeah, even now, I know that's how it happened, but she was right, too. I did close myself off. So I made up my mind that I'm not going to let that be the case ever again.
The hospital? Hishan, what are you...
Just listen, please. Shizune's the opposite of how I was. She's always wanted to draw people closer to her. It's the only reason Shizune was interested in me in the first place, I think. And I think I was determined to not let that happen in a way. Misha cast her eyes downwards, understanding perfectly. I never realized how hard that can be. And now, I feel like I'm going to return the favor. Even if it takes twice as long. I already learned a second language just to get this far. It wasn't as hard as I thought, but it was definitely hard. Sometimes I feel like I was clawing my way up a mountain, with how my hands hurt. And you did the same thing. It was for the same reason, wasn't it? That's really amazing. Which is why it makes me sad and a little angry that you would say a stupid thing like that. That's just what I believe, anyway. Her shoulders slump, and Misha almost slides to the floor, like she is drained of all energy.
You're too dramatic, Hishan.
She says, while looking away, turning her head almost as if she wants to look at the school grounds, but not turning it enough to do so.
Wahahaha.
The door behind us opens, the sound only barely able to be heard over the ambient breeze.
I've been looking everywhere for you two. Is this some secret meeting?
She walks over to us, leaning against the fence next to Misha as if she needs to stop and catch her breath before pushing herself off and continuing.
I'm bored sitting in the student council room every day now, without either of you coming by. Taking some time off is fine, but this is just too much.
Normally, Misha and I would be jokingly making excuses for ourselves at this point. This time, there's only silence. Shizune, always expecting resistance, is thrown off balance by the lack of it. A few seconds pass in uneasy silence, which Shizune breaks with an ear-shattering snap of her fingers, smiling as if to say, Eureka!
Let's go do something together.
Like what?
Anything. We should go to the student council room first, and then figure it out from there.
That seems like a trick to get us to do work instead.
Very funny.
Misha laughs, managing to let out a restrained wah wah ha ha. That Shizune can't see it makes me feel better. It means that it wasn't only for her benefit.
I was thinking that you both actually could help me with something.
What else is there? We can't go out to eat. We already ordered in yesterday, and that was already breaking policy. 3 days in a row would be unforgivable.
But that was ordering in, Shishan. Going out to eat is different.
Yeah, totally different. You're both kidding yourselves. Before I can reply, Shizune grasps my hand, limiting my ability to do so. My options cut down so drastically, I have no choice but to settle for making a face at her instead. She makes one back before extending her hand to Misha as well. When Misha is reluctant to take it, I walk forward as far as holding on to Shizune at the same time will allow me, and take her hand myself. She only has a second to smile before Shizune starts pulling us impatiently towards the door, binding us together like a human chain. Who the fuck is that in the background? Is that a spirit? Although it's dangerous, none of us seem to think of letting go any step of the way through the school, out of the doors, and across the grounds. This feels familiar, as if we walked like this before, the three of us, hand in hand. Of course, the mood was a lot happier then. I can see the lingering sadness on their faces, and it makes me wonder if anything has really changed, if this is all just a distraction or not. But I think it's just me slipping back into being cynical because of the moment. It's a start. To my other self. That hit hard. Wow. 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 That hit really hard. I think there's been enough time. We've hit Act 4. We finally hit Act 4. Wow. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. And, check up on your friends. It's been a rough time for everyone. Check up on folks. Goodbye.